Hey guys, I decided to pull some guns out of the safe. I think you're going to want to see this. Bad news for me, good news for you. The IRS is calling. It's time to pay some taxes. So I had to go into the safes and cull the herd a little bit. Found some remarkable guns. A couple of them brought tears to my eyes and I had to put them back in the safe. But there's some here that I'll be able to offer. All of these are from my personal collection. And for those people who buy these guns, we would give you a certificate saying basically, these are real, these are original, and they came from my personal collection. So let's take a look. First, I'm going to show you 3 high powers. So come on over and look over my shoulder. Okay, these are the 3 high powers that I pulled from the safe. Believe it or not, there's more in there. We'll save them for another day. Let's do this one first because this is from 1941. You can see right here. This is after the Germans took over the factory in Belgium, the FN factory. You can see the maker, and there's the Waffen stamp. 1941 holster is very rare. This holster alone, I'm thinking $600, $700, but this is near perfect. It's a 613, which was the first contract. So the earliest ones had a slot here. There's a picture of a slot. Slotted one, had a slot. But then after that, the Germans didn't need the slot, so they eliminated it. This only has some scratches there, which is a little bit distracting. But I already mentioned 613. Look at that front strap. They don't come much better. And look at the other side. This is absolutely beautiful. Original finish, 613 here. And then 2 magazines that are 613. This one, you can't really see it, but it's like a phosphated finish on the magazine. And there are 2 613 magazines. So early, high power, 2 613 magazines with the 41 holster comes together as a complete rig. This next one is a Eagle 140. It's also from 41 or 42, but it's a later inspector. And then they went to a Eagle 140, but no tangent sight. I'll do it this way. Well, you can see the front sight is a little bit different and the tangent sight in the back is a little bit different. So this is the earlier gun. This is a later gun. This one from the serial number A, probably all the way into 1944 toward the end of the German occupation. So you can see both of these are beautiful guns. Tangent sights sell for a little bit more. See how nice the grips are. Front straps. Absolutely gorgeous. And there's the other side. So just 2 incredible. You just don't find them in these conditions. Now both magazines are correct. Wartime magazines, but they are not Waffen proofed, and that's not that unusual. Not all of them were. It's a plus if they are. These are correct magazines, but not Waffen proofed. Most importantly, let's get all 3 of them together. Let's take a look at all 3 of these. Look at the quality on those things. And the front straps. Absolutely gorgeous. I was just putting these back, putting them away, and I wanted to point out, on the original ones, look at it's orange paint inside there. It's kind of cool. But that's the original early grips. These are also early grips, not orange paint. And then the later one, not orange paint. So it's correct for these very early variations to have orange paint inside. Don't ask me why, I can't tell you. But it's kind of cool. Next we have a couple of Mausers. Now this is horrible, but this one has a little bit of wear on it. We'll start with this one. This is the Mauser HSC, which came after the model 1934. So HSC came out in about 1940. You can see it's an early serial number. They started at about 700,000, and this is 752. Just look at the straps. This is really, really beautiful. This is the lanyard. And these are fairly inexpensive, but this is 99%. You can just see how beautiful it is. Now, it is an Eagle L, and that is a police marking. You can also see an Eagle N here and here. Beautiful grips. These come in .32 caliber, and they're not very expensive. Next is the 1934, not as beautiful, but the reason I picked this one out, well, I have a couple. This is an Eagle L, a police Eagle L, Model 1934 is extremely hard to find and a lot more expensive than the HSC because they were more plentiful. Look at the grip straps. The magazine is correct. It's Mauser banner marked. It has a bottom release magazine, which is sometimes a little awkward. This one works fairly well. It does have a police magazine. Does not, almost 888, and this is 588, so it's close, but that is not a matching magazine, just a beautiful gun. You can see a little hint of a fire blue screw, which they would have in the really early ones, fire blue screw, whereas the HSC would just be a blued. So those are two incredible guns from my collection. Now we have a Navy and then a Kriegoff, two fairly expensive guns. This is beautiful grips, like a beechwood color, and the magazine bottom matches. It has the concentric circles, which is often seen in the World War I era navies. So there you see 1917. You'll see 1917 here, and you'll see 1917 here. So it's dated. And then you see the Navy markings. Those are correct. The serial number here, 3993, also matches the magazine, 3993. And then you see the same Navy marking here is found here. This is in 9mm, 6-inch barrel. Beautiful condition. Adjustable sight, 100 meters and 200 meters. Made by DWM in 1917. This next one, this Kriegoff, is from World War II. This is actually made in 1940. It's not dated because it's a commercial gun. That is the Eagle N. There's the serial number. And on the frame serial number, you see a tiny P before it, which means private. It was commercial, sold privately. Because they only made, this was probably around 1940, they probably only made about 500 to 1,000 Kriegoffs in 1940. Most of them went to the Luftwaffe. So these were not being made for the corner store. This was a private purchase. Somebody came in and said, I want a Kriegoff Luger, and this was set aside special for a special buyer. They also requested it in .30 caliber, which is very rare to find a Kriegoff in .30 caliber. You see the fire blue here. You see that little star, which is actually a commercial proof. You can see the finish, dull here, shiny on the outer edges. There's a thumbprint right here. If you know Kriegoffs, you can't really see it, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's hard to see. But there's a little thumbprint right there, which is one of the proofs that they use. Oh, and one other thing. The reddish grips are correct, and it has a matching magazine, but no Kriegoff stamp here because it did not go to the military. So it doesn't have the Luftwaffe proofs. Private sale with a matching magazine. Extremely rare in 1940. They probably only made about 50 of these, less than 50 in .30 caliber, so a very rare pistol. Okay, next I have two Walther PPs. This one is unusual because it's so early. You see the large ring hammer? That was an early feature. See the smaller ring? Just look at the opening of the circle versus here. They had a large ring early on. They also had a fat safety, which this one is not. It is a 90-degree safety, but this is the original with the fire blue. You can see the finish. This is 99%. Beautiful straps. Look at the magazine. A little bit of plum finish up here. Walther banner. I'll show you how early it is. They started in 750,000. So this is about 8,000 guns into production. You'll notice that this doesn't quite come to the top. And that was one of the, it wasn't a flaw, but the early grips with the X, if you take this grip off, there'll be an X in here. The X grips were always a little bit small. And so that tells me that that's original. You can see crown N, fire blue finish here, fire blue finish here, and even inside under the grip you can see some fire blue. Look at the front strap, just beautiful back strap. There's almost no wear. This is 99%. First year of production, so 1929, first year of production. And one other feature that I'll show you, I'm not going to take it apart, but it would, if you if you took it apart, you would see it has a two-piece firing pin with a closed cover. But also, these early guns, they had a slightly extended barrel. See how the barrel sticks out just a little bit, whereas this one, it does not. So slightly extended barrel, just a few early features. Then this one, by the way, this is 7.65. It says it right here. Zellamelis factory. This is Zellamelis factory. This, I said, was 1929. This one is about 1940, early 42, late 41, early 42. It's Eagle N here and here. It's no longer fire blued because now they were just bluing them. Let's take a look at the magazine. It's correct magazine. There's no button here, but the early ones, there was no button. You may say that doesn't make any sense, but that's the way they made them. They had an early 7-hole, and then this is an early no button. And there's the 22 caliber, again, about a 99% gun. Front straps, back straps, almost no wear at all. Beautiful gun. Okay, now I had two P38s up here. I thought one was 41 and one was 42, but it turns out they were both 42s, so we'll save that 41 for another video. This is an AC-42, so it was made in 1942. It's in the B block. Now, this comes with two matching magazines. You can see the front strap. Barrel matches, 9mm. It has the military proofs here. You can see this is over top of the finish. The first one is under the finish, then it's over the finish. Look how beautiful that is. This is also, it's got maybe a little thinning here. Has a tiny little mark right there, but otherwise it's a 99% gun. Now they numbered the magazines in 1940, 41, but in 42 they decided to stop numbering the magazines. So this is actually rarer than finding a 41 with two matching magazines. This is a 42 with two matching magazines because they only did it in the no suffix A, B, and C. So this is in the B block, and I'll show you the two matching magazines. You see right here, it's 8919B, and here's the way they numbered the magazines. 8919B, absolutely correct. Nothing faked about these. That has one proof here, one proof here. Not the double proof. Some of you are going to say, oh, they did a double proof. That was in 41. By 42, they phased that out. Again, they're trying to save money, and so they're not inspecting them twice. They stopped numbering the mags. That's why this 1942 with two matching mags is very, very hard to find. Probably if you are a collector of P38s, this is one that has eluded you, and it does come with actually that's a 43 holster, which is fine as long as it's within a year. There's the maker, there's the Waffen stamp. It's not mint, but it's certainly an excellent, look at the inside. Excellent holster, so a full rig with two match magazines. Okay, this is going to make me cry a little bit, but these I've had most of these I've had 10 years at least. I look at the labels on them and I see the people I bought them from, and some have passed away. All have been good friends to me over the years, and it's just time to move some of these. But this is 1936, 1937, look at that holster, 1940, and then 1941 with a pigskin holster. I like holsters almost as much as I like the guns. So here's the 36. Now, this does not have a tool. It is an excellent holster. Not mint, excellent. It does say 1936, so that's all correct. There's a little bit of an initial, I see maybe a G there. You can see where a belt rubbed. There's, again, no tool. But all of these have two matching magazines. So these are two match mag rigs, with the exception of some have tools and some do not. Look at the grips, first and foremost. This really has almost no wear on it. There's a little bit of wear here, a little bit of wear on the rails, you can see. There's some wear. But look at the fire blue here, the beautiful straw finish. There's the proof marks. Front strap, back strap. Now let's do the two matching magazines. The most important part of the two matching magazines is that that's the part that's faked the most. People have the magazines restamped. All of these our original 2-match magazines. 1936, that's the code for Mauser. So with 2-match magazines. And again, probably had that one about 10 years. So that's 36. This is a 1937, although I don't see a date. Sometimes they're under, under here, but I believe that's a 37 holster. Does this one? Yeah, this one comes with a tool, and the tool is Eagle 63, which is correct. We'll put that tool back. You see that it's a first variation because it has straw, small parts. You can see that it has 2-digit serial number that you're used to seeing it here, but even here it's number 23, and that's an R. Make sure it's not navy marked, it's not. This just got a little bit of patina, but other than that, it's just a beautiful finish with beautiful straw color. Excellent grips, nice and strong. You do see some fire blue, early proof marks. There's the 2 matching magazines, 23, with the correct Eagle 63. So this is a first variation, 1937 Mauser in an excellent holster with 2 matching magazines. Next one is a 1940 I mentioned. It has a 39 holster, which is fine. Now this was dyed black by order in 1940. They did do an Army order saying that the brown holsters needed to be dyed black, but this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Now this is mint. I'm going to call that a mint holster. And when we open it up, we're going to pull out, there's no, oh, there is a tool. However, the tool is blank, so it was, it could have been original or it could be a replacement, but it's a blank tool. Sometimes they skip the proof mark. Remember, they were not making them for collectors, they were making them for war, so if they skipped a proof mark or something was overstruck, that did happen in the factory. We're not making excuses, we're just telling the truth. These things were being knocked out in 1940 in time for the invasion of France. So you can see the magazines were pinned in the middle, whereas before the 36, 37, they were pinned right here, and then later, 1940, they started pinning them in the middle. Now let's take a look at, well, let's do the grip straps, still shiny, beautiful here, just beautiful. It's a little bit of wear. You know, this is probably a 98% gun. No excuses for this one. This is a 1940 with a 42 code, which is correct. We got 2 matching magazines. There's the one on the receiver, and then 2 matching magazines. They also are in the N block. That has a plus sign, which the spare had a plus sign. And you can see this is in the N block, or at least I hope you can see it. But incredible gun. Now remember the straw small parts? In 1937, the second variation, they just started bluing them. So 39 and 40, 41, 42, they were all blued, no straw parts. You can see that the white here has aged, so this has not been redone. This is all original and correct with 2 matching magazines in an absolutely gorgeous holster. Great rig for some lucky winner out there. Here's the last one, a 1941 with 2 matching magazines. Now, 1941 could be a Black Widow, but if it has matching magazines, it should have wooden grips. And sure enough, you will see that it does. Now, what makes this really cool, I already mentioned, this is a 42 holster. There's the Waffen stamp. The gun is, look at that, that is beautiful pigskin. You can see the little hair follicle pores. Also, this was almost never, probably never issued because this is never folded. Well, it's probably been folded because I just folded it. But the way it is, and you can see the pores in there, the way it is, it looks almost unissued. So just a incredible holster. The holster alone sells for $800, $900 because pigskin is very rare. But let's take a look at the gun itself, and we'll pull out the spare magazine. Obviously, there's no tool that comes with this. There's the gun, just like all the other ones. Look at those grip straps, absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh, you know, the thing is, I was telling Randy, he's much younger than me, and compared to me, he's just getting started in this hobby. And I can go to a dozen gun shows and not find a single one that looks like this. With the condition that it is in, with 2 matching magazines, with a mint holster, you just don't find them anymore. But 20 years ago, I used to be able to go to a show, and there'd be 1 or 2 of these, but I'd always be afraid to buy them because they were too much money. And let me just say, I never regret the ones that I bought. I regret the ones that I didn't buy. And sometimes I'd say, oh, that's way too much money. So for example, let's say this is on a table, 2 match mag rig, it's $2,500. Oh, I don't want to afford that. Well, I would have more than doubled my money if I'd picked it up. But you don't know the future, and it makes you nervous. Now again, this is not a Black Widow. A BYF 41 could be a Black Widow. We'll check the grips in a minute. But as we check this, we can see that it does have 2 matching magazines. So, and there's an R block as well. Remember the plus sign, the extra one is plus. And it was issued to the military. Here's the military proofs, which will be Eagle 655. Off camera, let's check these grips. Okay, so I usually take the right grip off, because when you take the right grip off and you look through, you can usually see down inside there, it does say 46. So that's the original grip. And this one also very clearly says 46. So original grips numbered 46, just like the gun, 46, and 2 matching magazines with a pigskin holster. You just don't find these anymore. And one thing about shopping on the internet, obviously I'm biased, but I hear people going to 10 shows a year, flying into town, getting a hotel, paying for food. They walk the whole show. They come home with maybe 1 or 2 guns, but they don't come home with anything like what you've seen on this video. Hey, I hope you like the view from inside the vault. We should probably do that more often, but I have a hard time letting go of these guns. The only thing that I have to apologize for is these will not last long. Quality guns like these hardly ever come up, and when they do, they disappear quickly.